Selling a parent's house is emotional enough. The last thing you need is to make a mistake that costs you thousands of dollars on top of everything else you're dealing with. But that's exactly what I see happen all the time. Families pour money into the wrong updates. They skip the ones that actually matter. They price the house based on memories instead of on today's market. And they end up sitting on a home that should have sold weeks or even months earlier. In this video, I'm going to show you the biggest mistakes people make when selling a parent's house, and make sure you stay to the end because the last one is one you absolutely cannot afford to make in this market. If your parents have asked you to help them sell their house, this isn't just another real estate transaction. It's usually happening at the same time that you're helping them move into assisted living, or maybe you're settling their estate, or you're making decisions your family really never thought they'd have to make. It can be stressful and everybody has an opinion, and trying to make smart financial decisions is hard while also dealing with a lifetime full of memories. Let's start with the first mistake, and it's one that almost every seller I've ever worked with has said to me. It goes something like, we spent X number of dollars to replace the roof, the air conditioning, the furnace, the plumbing. So we should be able to ask a higher price for that, right? I'm afraid that just isn't true. As a homeowner, you're expected to maintain your house. And so that means periodically having to replace the furnace or the air conditioner, or fixing the roof, fixing the plumbing when it bursts. Yes, it costs money for the homeowner, but it doesn't add value to the asking price. People expect to buy a house with functional plumbing and systems. Just because you put $1 in does not mean you're going to get $1 or more back out. Now, there are absolutely renovations that do increase the value of the house, but that's things like updating the kitchen and the bathroom, replacing the worn, dirty carpet with more modern flooring. Fixing the roof when it leaks is just a given. And so that brings me to mistake number 2, which is not doing enough updating. One of my friends is interested in buying the house next door to her. So she sent me the information and asked what I thought of the price. It was built in the 60s, and oh my gosh, does it looks it. It looks straight out of the Brady Bunch, like it hasn't been touched in at least 50 years. Now, is this appealing to today's modern buyer? No, it is a complete and utter fixer-upper. It needs new everything. Rip down all the wallpaper, replace all of the flooring, redo the kitchen, the bathroom, pull down the wood paneling in the family room. Now, no, you do not need to do a complete remodel in order to put it up for sale. But if you can do some of the basics, it will go a long way to making it more appealing to buyers. But mistake number 3 is the exact opposite, where they decide to remodel everything and go for over-the-top finishes. The most expensive cabinets, marble tile in the bathrooms, the quartz counters, and this is a big mistake in a neighborhood of more starter to middle priced homes, because there's such a thing as over improving your house. When yours becomes the fanciest, nicest house in the neighborhood, that sounds like a good thing. It's actually not. Because when you over improve the house for the neighborhood, you will not get the money back out that you put into fixing it up. I've been a realtor for more than 20 years, and the best piece of advice I can give you is to make sure you have this discussion with your agent before you start doing the things that you think are so important. Sometimes what the sellers think is so important actually is not going to add any value to the house at all. I don't want you to spend money doing things that is not going to either help the house sell faster or sell for more money, or both. I would much rather you skip it all together if it's not going to help you in the bottom line. Because mistake number 4 is taking too long to get all of these things done. Suddenly 4 months has gone by and you missed the prime selling season because you were up to your eyeballs planting a new garden or doing some sort of faux finish on the living room wall by the fireplace. We definitely want to balance what needs to be done with getting it done in a reasonable amount of time so that we can get the darn house on the market. Even if the house is fully paid off, you're still paying the water bill, the power bill, the homeowner's insurance, the property taxes, and maybe there still is a mortgage payment. The longer it takes to get the house on the market, the more your carrying costs are. And that really eats into your overall profits. But this is by far the worst mistake, and this happens to a lot of people, whether they're selling their parents' house or even selling their own house. And that is pricing it too high for the current market condition. Remember my friend that's interested in buying the house next door? Like I said, this thing needs a complete remodel from top to bottom, but it's dirt cheap. The listing agent did a great job pricing it according to its condition. I figured it's probably going to cost her $50,000 or more to remodel the entire house. Now, if she had priced it only slightly below what all of the neighboring houses were selling for, nobody would ever buy it. But because it's a bargain, it's going to appeal to investors, people who are willing to take on a project of this magnitude because that's what they do, and they have deep pockets. There is nothing worse than listing a house for sale and watching it just sit there while all of the houses around you sell. It is summer of 2026 when I'm filming this, and we are squarely in a buyer's market here in the Savannah, Georgia market. Homes that are in a mid-range price or lower price range, they're taking 90 days or even longer to sell. In fact, I just did a search in the MLS this morning, and we have roughly 5 months worth of inventory. That means if no other houses came on the market starting today, it would take 5 months to sell every single house in Chatham County that's currently for sale. When it's time to come up with a list price, you need to have a real estate agent giving it to you straight, telling you what the house is truly worth in its current condition and what it would be worth if you were to update this, that, and the other thing. But insisting on listing it for a higher price simply because the neighbor's house sold for that 6 months ago is a mistake. And you will probably end up having to do multiple price reductions and waste months of time before it finally sells. If you are in the Savannah area and you'd like me to take a look at your parents' house and give you my advice on what updates are worth making, I will put a link below where you can schedule a call with me totally free of charge. And before you go, watch this video next because it answers one of the biggest questions families have before they ever put their house on the market.